Unrivaled is about to unravel. I would be very surprised that numbers for year 2 are comparable to numbers from year 1. They have less star power. WNBA fatigue is at an all-time high. There's no Caitlin Clark. There was pretty much no Caitlin Clark sophomore year in the WNBA.
Okay, did you see what just happened? Because this is totally crazy. Unrivaled just lost their biggest star, and no one's really talking about what that means for the WNBA's future. Here's the deal. When the top 5 names in women's basketball decide not to show up to your league, it's not just because of bad timing. It's a planned message. And by the time you're done watching this, you'll see why this could be either the smartest move these players have ever made or the biggest mistake that gives all the control back to the owners. Let me tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. Because this is way deeper than just a few players skipping a season.
The only person that casuals might know from 2019, 2020 in Sabrina Ionescu from last year isn't there this year. You have WNBA champion A'ja Wilson. She's not there. You have Sophie Cunningham, who has made a mark in the minds of fans across the country. She won't be participating in this.
See what he's saying? Their 5 huge stars are gone, but here's what most people don't get. This isn't about taking a break. This isn't about avoiding injuries. Look at the timing. The CBA talks are happening right now. The players group needs some power. They need to show the WNBA owners that they've got choices, that they don't have to rely on the league. And what's the biggest threat they could throw out there? A rival league that actually works, one that pays more, treats players better, and can live without the WNBA's help. That's the biggest weapon. That's the move you make when you want the owners to take you seriously during talks. But there's one huge problem with that plan.
This takes a lot of leverage out of Unrivaled's hand when it comes to negotiating for the new CBA. By Unrivaled's hand, I mean out of the Players Association's hand. If Unrivaled actually was able to draw top players, draw the top billers, bring a decent rating night in and night out to their games, have good engagement, sell merch, so on and so forth, money talks bullshit.
And that's the big breaking point right there. Listen to what he just said. Money talks, and nonsense walks. If Unrivaled can't get the big stars, if it can't pull in viewers, if the players people actually care about aren't showing up, then what power does the players group really have? Think about it from the owner's point of view for a second. You're sitting across the table from the players' union leader. They're asking for higher pay, better treatment, private flights, everything. And they're basically saying, give us what we want, or we'll just go play in Unrivaled instead. But here's the twist. You already know Caitlin Clark isn't playing there. You know Angel Reese backed out. You know A'ja Wilson wants nothing to do with it. So why would you, as an owner, be scared of that? You wouldn't. You'd probably laugh and call them out on their bluff.
About if they're not playing in Unrivaled, then the owners still have no reason to fear Unrivaled. I'd argue that players sitting out from Unrivaled helps out the WNBA far more than it helps out Unrivaled. Imagine being Unrivaled, Nafisa Collier, Breanna Stewart. Imagine being part of the Players Association, the president, Nneka Ogwumike, and going to negotiations, going to the table saying, look, we have all the top superstars in our league still.
Did you hear the names he just mentioned? Dana Evans, Cameron Brink, Dereka Hamby. They're good players, no doubt, but they're not the ones who bring in big crowds. They're not the stars that casual fans tune in to see. And that's the tough truth that's about to crush Unrivaled's power in these talks. Because here's what's really going on. There's a big split inside the players group that nobody wants to admit out loud. On one side, you've got people like Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart. They've actually put their own money into Unrivaled. They literally own parts of it. They need it to work because their money depends on it. Then on the other side, you've got players like Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson, who are thinking, hold up, why should I help you grow your business while possibly hurting the league I've always dreamed of playing in?
Which goes with the theme, no handouts. We're not giving you our name, image, and likeness, for lack of a better term, so you can use our handouts to bargain, to go against the league that we've dreamed to play for. We're not giving you the ammo that you need to go potentially shut down the WNBA, to potentially go and argue and use Unrivaled as your own bargaining chip in a selfish manner, because that's what they're doing, hence conflict of interest.
Okay, hold up. Because what he just broke down is the mindset behind this whole thing. No handouts. Think about what that really means. Caitlin Clark has spent the past year watching everyone use her name to boost their own brands, their leagues, their platforms. Angel Reese became the face of Unrivaled's first season mostly because of the Caitlin Clark rivalry story. The whole league got attention just by being connected to the Clark effect. And now they want to use that same star power as a weapon against the WNBA, the same league these players actually want to stay in for the long run. That's where the conflict of interest really shows. Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart aren't just members of the players group. They're also business owners trying to compete with the WNBA while still representing WNBA players. You can't work for both sides, and the top stars just realized that.
That's a clear conflict of interest. A'ja Wilson, she's not letting that happen. Both years, she's not letting that happen. Caitlin Clark, not letting that happen. They've had enough time using Caitlin Clark's juice, using Caitlin Clark's clout to demand and ask. Angel Reese, it's not happening this year. Sophie Cut, no. Sabrina, no, not happening this year.
Sophie's out. Nope. Sabrina's out too. Not happening this year. Both years did you catch that A'ja Wilson sat out both years? This isn't a one-time thing. This is a pattern. This is a statement. And here's what makes it even more interesting: these no-handouts players, like Caitlin Clark, aren't dumb. They understand power. They understand how negotiations work. So why would they give up the one card that could actually make the WNBA pay them more, unless they don't see it as real power at all? Unless they see Unrivaled as a trap? Think about it from their point of view. If Unrivaled actually does well, if it becomes a real rival to the WNBA, what happens? Best case, the WNBA has to fight for players and raise salaries. Worst case, the WNBA says, okay, you want to play tough? We'll shut things down. Go play in your little new league and see how that goes. And just like that, you end up with 2 weak leagues instead of one strong one.
And he mentioned, well, with all of the shady business that's now coming out around the NBA, who's to say that Adam Silver didn't talk to some of these players behind the closed doors and say, here's a few $100,000, don't play in this shit. We don't need to give them any more leverage. Here's a few $100,000, we'll take care of it, don't worry about it, you don't need this. We can't have your stardom being lent out to all these different places, Unrivaled being one of them, Athletes Unlimited being one of them. We can't have that. You'll play in the WNBA, you'll do the USA basketball stuff.
Now this is where things get totally crazy. So, check this out. There's a rumor going around that Adam Silver, the NBA boss, might have secretly paid some players to skip Unrivaled. Like, literally gave them money behind closed doors and said, here's a few $100,000. Don't give them anything they can use against us in talks. And before you say that sounds like some wild conspiracy stuff, look at what's been going on in the NBA lately. The Luka Doncic situation, the Terry Rozier gambling case that the NBA somehow missed but the FBI didn't, and the Kawhi Leonard payment scheme accusations. The NBA's been caught doing shady things more than once recently. So is it really that crazy to think Adam Silver might hand out a few quiet checks to protect the WNBA's power in these talks? Because here's the deal: the NBA has money in the WNBA. They fund it. They back it. They need it to win on their terms, not on the terms of a new player-run league.
Allegedly, possibly, push the Mavericks in a direction to get rid of Luka Doncic to a main attraction organization like the Los Angeles Lakers, and then just by chance they land on the #1 pick in Cooper Flagg. This is the commissioner of a league who got reports of Terry Rozier and analyzed the reports into their own investigation, only to say, oh yeah, nothing's wrong here, but Terry, you're gonna have to sit the rest of this current season. Only for the FBI to swoop in and say, have you guys been falling asleep at the wheel? What kind of investigation did you guys do?
The shady business side is actually super important to understanding this whole thing, because what we're really talking about here is control. Who's running women's basketball? Is it the league? Is it the players? Is it the players' union? Or is it a few business-minded players trying to build their own empire? And here's where it gets really interesting. When you're someone like Caitlin Clark or A'ja Wilson, players who already make big money from sponsors and have secure spots as team leaders, you don't need Unrivaled. You're not hungry for that extra paycheck. But when you're the players' union, trying to get better treatment and pay for everyone, you do need something to pressure the owners with. You need a real threat. And Unrivaled was supposed to be that threat. Except the players who could actually make it scary just said, nah, we're good.